Boom. We're up. We're ready? We're on fire?
You're on fire.
Ready to go?
Yeah, you're live.
So, TC,
Yes, sir.
while you were gone,
Uh-huh.
while you were traveling, got an email. Who did I get an email from?
That would be me.
All right, for Cabrillo College Board, right?
Correct?
Am I right?
Correct. That's
College
right.
Boards of Incumbents.
We are all
Board of
incumbent.
Trustees.
Board of
incumbents.
Trustees. I'm like, TC, what the heck do you want to come on our show for? All right, that was my first question as I laid there going, opening at the email going, the heck do you want to come on our show? But I forget it's political season right now.
It is.
Right?
November's coming up quickly.
A lot of,
Yes.
and you have, a lot of signs up, a lot of action going on. So these guys want to come on our show.
And so these are current trustees
Yes.
Right.
of Cabrillo College here in beautiful Santa Cruz.
Yes.
Current enrollment at Cabrillo College is?
About 11,000 students.
And earlier you were saying that's a little lower than what
Oh yeah,
capacity is.
yeah. I've been there. I've been at Cabrillo College since 1986, and the high point was 17,000.
Wow.
Did you graduate yet?
Did I correct?
You've been longer than he has.
I have a PhD.
He
I
was
have a
there, let me
PhD,
tell you
right.
something. He was there so long, he had his own parking
No, I
spot.
was living there for 6 years.
Yeah, I know. He was telling me his whole history.
I
Yeah.
really did have my own parking spot. It was a secret spot in dirt that I never got a ticket. The
Never
entire
got a
time.
ticket.
3 garages. So, yeah, I was a veteran of Cabrillo College.
You were very proud of that.
Very proud. Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Could you see the surf in the parking
I was
spot?
just going to tell you why it took 6 years is never send a surfer to a college with an ocean view. Because I would look out the window and see the lines
know.
rolling in the bay, and
I
I'd be
know.
like,
Yeah.
I know.
Surf's up.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Do you
campus.
have a favorite teacher or favorite class?
Okay,
shout
so I
out?
was trying to remember earlier. I believe his name was Ed. He taught sci-fi, and he was a poet. Now he taught poetry also. And as I look back, I was saying earlier, I wish I could remember his name. He passed away a few years back, but he taught a class on sci-fi movies, and that was my favorite.
Was it
Was it Morton Marcus?
Morton
Yes,
Marcus?
Morton
Morton
Marcus.
Marcus.
Yes, yeah, it was Morton Marcus.
I knew
who
Morton.
taught that class.
I
yeah.
knew Morton really well.
Yeah, and Morton was amazing, and that class was fantastic. And I think my wife was interested in it. That's at the time she was my girlfriend, but I think that's why I ended up in there. But as I look back on my 6 years at Cabrillo, that class just stands out as being entertaining, and he was such an interesting character and one of the smartest people that I've crossed
He was
paths
really
with.
good.
Yeah, so Morton Marcus, thank you for bringing that
Right.
up.
Dedicate the show to Morton Marcus.
I think that's a great
Oh
call.
yeah, but
Hey,
let's do.
Do you want to introduce
Let's do
yourself?
that.
We're going to go across the board here and introduce
Sure.
yourself, and who you are, and
Well, my name's Adam Spickler. I got elected to the Cabrillo College Governing Board in 2018. So it'll be 4 years this winter that I've been there. I am locally, I work in government, and I'm a Cabrillo College grad myself. I have you beat. I spent 8 years going to the school part-time.
Well, you must have been a surfer.
he smoked you.
Right? And it's the college really is a big part of what made me who I am today in so many ways. I walked into that school really lacking confidence in myself, both as a learner and somebody who would really be participatory in our community, and got through 8 years of just building self-confidence because of the teaching, because of the environment in the school. And I figure all these years later, with all the government experience I've now had, if I was going to run for office and do something to give back with all the skills that I'd gained, it would have to be at Cabrillo College because the school gave me so much.
It's not a get-rich scheme, right? I mean,
Oh no, we make
Volunteering,
huge
yeah.
amounts of money.
Yeah, no.
Our salaries are like $1 million and up.
Well, it just seems like, obviously, you have history there, you have
Yeah.
a love of the place,
Yep.
and that's what drew you to take this next step and take an office position there.
Yeah.
I call it.
It's the best paying volunteer, no pay gig I've ever had.
That's awesome. Do you get free coffee?
No, we don't even get
What's
that.
the
No.
Jeez, no paying. All right, let's move down the line.
Hi, I'm Dan Rothwell. I got elected to the Board of Trustees in 2018 along with Adam. I am the first community college, Cabrillo College professor to ever be on the board in its 60-some years of history.
Wow.
I taught at Cabrillo for 30 years. I was the chair of the Communications Studies Department. When I came on board, the only full-time person was me. When I left, we had 7 full-time faculty, and we had one of the largest departments on campus. I taught at several universities before I came to Cabrillo College. I taught at the University of Oregon, Fort Hays, Kansas State University, and I taught at Western Washington University. I became very disenchanted with the university system, mainly because it did not emphasize teaching. Teaching was what I felt my passion for, and even though I've published 6 textbooks in communication studies. Teaching is really what I wanted to do the most, and community colleges don't care at all about your publishing record. So the fact that I wrote textbooks, they do, oh, that's really nice. But how do you teach?
Yeah.
So I've won more than 24 teaching awards, an international award, a national,
Wow,
a regional, and California. State Senate actually recognized me with a resolution applauding my teaching. It was my passion, and I loved it dearly. And I did it, as I said, for 30 years here at Cabrillo.
Is this the lowest point of your teaching career, being in a skate shop, talking about your future?
No. In fact, what I should have done is learn how to use one of these boards and skateboard into my class.
I just wanted to inject that my time at Cabrillo, one of the things I noticed was the incredible talent of the staff.
Yes.
And I think it's because look at the beautiful community we live in. Why wouldn't you want to get out of some of the cities in America and come to beautiful Santa Cruz and teach? And so I always thought that the level of talent at Cabrillo was amazing.
It's amazing.
Also, Adam, I just want to say that Elias just mentioned, so glad Adam is running again.
Oh,
So-
thank you,
so know.
Elias.
Yeah, you got a
that's
fan
cool.
out there. Okay, so moving down the line.
Hi, I'm Donna Zeal. I'm also an incumbent. I was originally elected to the board in 2010. So I've been on the board quite a long time. I came to it after a 30-plus year career at San Jose State, where I was in student affairs, I was an advisor, I ran and developed our off-campus program in Monterey County, and was the associate director for our branch campus in Salinas for several years. And then I went back to campus and I was the director of student outreach and recruitment. And in all of that work, I was reaching out to the community colleges. I ran the transfer admission agreement program for the university with all of our service area schools, including Cabrillo. And I was on the Cabrillo College campus at least once a month for about 20 years. I was on, speaking of parking places, I had a parking permit because I was there so often. So when the opening came up for this, I decided that I would make a go of it. In fact, the woman who held the seat before me recommended me for it.
Wow.
And yeah, so it has been a wonderful ride. I love Cabrillo. My students, the transfer students that I worked with repeatedly said what you have said, and that is that the best teaching that they ever had, even if they've gone on for master's degrees or PhDs, was at Cabrillo, because that's the focus. It's on teaching.
You know, times are different, but I'll just speak for myself. In the 80s and 90s, that staff was really happy.
Come close to the microphone, TC.
Yeah, so
Oh, no.
I will.
Just for-
it just
for you.
seemed like, you know, it wasn't as expensive to live here then, and on a teacher's salary, you could still have a nice home and be a part of the community. But I just felt like they always had such a talented group, and I've told many of my friends who wanted to send their kids from other parts of the state to Cabrillo, do it. It's a great community, and the school is just fantastic. So.
Just want to mention one thing, that but she's a cool mom, because
Yeah.
her son owns Moe's Alley, and he played here in a punk rock band, Enemy of My Enemy, right?
Right.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Donna
right?
gets the cool mom vote.
Yes, she got the
okay.
cool mom badge.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. In Miami, they were great.
They were really. You remember that?
Have you been to those shows?
No.
Yeah.
Put on the leather vest, you know, and hit the mosh pit.
No, Brian says I wouldn't understand. So.
So you guys come from different districts, like different areas, right?
Yes.
So is that what the board makes up? It's made up from different districts.
Right,
have
we have
seven-
we have seven
Seven districts.
trustees, each represents a different area of the county.
Okay.
And it has
So-
to do with the census.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it changes.
So I'm the San Lorenzo Valley, Scotts Valley area.
Okay.
And I'm in the essentially the Aptos. It used to be partly Watsonville and Freedom, but they narrowed my district a little bit, so I don't have quite as much of that. It's
And-
almost entirely Aptos.
I think the quick question, TCM, what do you guys do? Tonight we're like, well, he has no idea who comes on the show until about half an hour before. He's like,
I was
right?
in Mexico for
He's on Mexico.
He looks
You go,
like he
Neil,
still
who's,
doesn't know who's here.
he's like, who's on Neil? I go, some dudes from Cabrillo. Right? So
Well,
that's
that
actually
is a
works
good
out.
question. What is the job
Yeah,
entitled of being
I think we
trustee?
could all give a little bit to that
Yeah, of
answer.
course.
Donna,
Yeah.
you want to go first?
Well, one of our main charges is to hire and supervise and compensate the president of the college. He or she is our only employee. And I have served on 2 presidential searches, including the one that brought us Matt Wetstein, who is our current president. And so that's our biggest charge, I'd say.
Yeah, that's one of our biggest charges. And of course, we deal with budget. We have to, deal with the budget challenges that we've had. A lot of times we end up not having nearly as enough money. This budget year is actually pretty good for a change. In all the years that I was at Cabrillo, it was constantly a battle of, well, we have this huge structural deficit. We have to make all these cuts and so forth. And I was on the College Planning Council for 10 years, and I would get into huge battles with the budget director over, making cuts and so forth. So it's refreshing that for once we're dealing with actually having a fair amount of money as opposed to always being a deficit. So that's one of the things that we do.
It seems like there's less construction too. There was a lot of expansion last couple
There was
of
for
decades
years,
down there.
yeah.
And it seems like that has that slowed down a little bit.
It has, but we're currently working on a proposal for putting housing for students on campus.
Wow. Is
and
that normal for the junior college system?
It's new.
It's
It's
new.
new?
Brand new.
It's new.
And is that in your playbook? Are you helping out with that
We're
project?
pushing on it. We're all 3 actually members of the board's legislative committee, subcommittee. And that's one of the issues that we've been
Really?
pushing, and we've been talking, for instance, to Senator Laird and Stone and a number of other people at the state legislature talking about the importance of housing. Adam is probably the biggest and strongest advocate of housing on campus.
Well, we're all big advocates.
We're all big
Where would
advocates.
the housing go? Where does it fit?
Sure. Well, it's good. Most importantly, to know that these are allocated state funds. In 2020 and 2021, the state legislature set aside, I want to say it was $700 million was the first round of
For the
funding.
first round, yeah.
50% of which is set aside for all of the UC-CSU systems to fight over. And then the other 50% is earmarked for the community college system, with the thinking that traditionally community colleges haven't been the ones building. So we're trying to catch up.
We're catch up.
Okay.
New to the game for housing. So that's kind of the landscape.
Okay.
There's a little bit more money allocated this year as well. We applied in the last round. We didn't make the top 10 because they didn't see our proposal as quite shovel-ready enough, which was true. But our argument has always been, well, of course we're not shovel-ready. We're a community college. We haven't been doing housing
Right.
like all of the other community colleges in the state. So what they did fund us for was an EIR, Environmental Impact Report, and some money where we can start the community conversation to start collaborating and getting our legs and then applying in round 2, which we absolutely plan to do, and there's a little bit more money there. So what we would do, it depends on what our next application is. If it matches our current application, we had proposed building just shy of 300 units of affordable housing on the lower field where the athletics field is, where we know we have room to do this.
Like the tennis courts are, there's like 10 tennis courts there, and
Or soccer?
It's
Yeah.
out there where
Out by the soccer.
where the
Yeah.
soccer
Right.
part
Yep.
is, yeah.
Well, I mean, Santa Cruz, as we all know, is the second least affordable place in the country.
Yes, it is.
And we also have probably one of the highest Airbnb problems. Whereas it used to be college students could go in a converted garage. Those are gone now.
They've been
Well, no,
priced out.
they can still do that. It just costs $5,000.
Well, yeah, and there's just not as many available for how many students. And with UCSC's expansion, I know as a owner of a retail business hiring college students, they're not really around. I think the problem is that if you can afford to be here as a college student, you really don't need a job. Your parents are probably giving you an extra
Giving them
$1,000
money,
a month to buy your groceries and take care of it. So the need is definitely there. I hope that works out.
Well, they're even floating a proposal about working an intersegmental relationship with UCSC to make it actually 600 units, with UCSC actually running the dorms.
Wow.
So
And
that's-
is
That's
that an
all. That's all in
affordable
a
thing,
talk
or is that-
stage. We're there's nothing firm on that, but it's interesting that they're actually talking about it now.
Wow.
And I want to point out, too, that this came about because of a series of studies that were made that surprised a lot of legislators, that showed that at least 20% of the students in our public sector colleges and universities are food and housing insecure. So the proposal that we're talking about, that we're applying for, is designed to meet the needs of some of the lowest income students. Yeah. So and that in turn, we hope will take some of the pressure off of the housing demand in the county.
But there are other community colleges that have done this. Orange Coast, for instance, has done this.
Yeah.
But it's
Imperial.
unusual. There's, I think, 6 maybe in the state of California that have actually done housing, built housing on their
Orange
campus.
Coast is the size of a major university.
Oh yeah, they're huge.
My daughter
They're
went
huge.
there. It was gigantic. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And I grew up in Los Angeles, so I
Yeah,
know.
it's a huge
Yeah.
campus.
Yeah.
The people, the 11,000 people are going to Cabrillo. How many online? Is that people on foot, or is that including online?
That's people with a
students?
heartbeat. Yeah.
People with a heartbeat.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's shifting. You know, we're in this really interesting place coming out of the pandemic in waves. We have incrementally opened up back to in person, and we've been targeting those must teach in person classes first. We've also found that there's a really big demand with certain demographics of our students to continue with online education. You have people who are parenting and needing to be home with kids. You have people who are wrestling with full-time work and trying to fit in school.
Right.
There are a number of reasons why the online model that we've kind of now mastered in some ways is really a good fit. But what we need to figure out now is how do we do the hybrid successfully? It's really difficult as a teacher to be both in person and virtual at the same time and be able to manage class like that. So that's kind of what we're figuring out.
My other question is, your opponents, the people who are trying to give you the boot. I mean, you guys sound like you're doing a great job. And
Well, we are.
We were stunned that anybody would want to
What are
oppose
they going
us.
to come along and do better, do you think?
I don't know.
Okay.
Um,
All
Well,
right.
just your stories and backgrounds seem to be the perfect fit for what you're doing.
We think so.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And obviously we're talking a November election. Are we putting signs up? Are you campaigning? What are we
You're in a
doing?
skate shop, TC.
Well, I know you're in a
Tuesday
skate
night.
shop talking.
Here
We
we
are.
are.
All
This
these
is-
people watching.
This is the best campaign gig we've had so far.
It is, yeah. We're pretty sure this is going to wrap it up for us.
We've heard that before.
I'll tell
Jimmy
you.
Panetta told us that, right?
Yeah. He said,
He's like, I'm done.
I'll tell you, I'm putting as much effort into it as I can. I hope that my trustee trajectory, my career with Cabrillo College in this capacity, lasts for a good long time. At a certain point in the next 8 or so years, I will be, if I'm lucky, I'm looking for wood to knock on, retire from my day job so that I can put in more time volunteering at Cabrillo and being really invested and involved. If the voters want to keep me around that long, that's what I hope to do. So I'm putting the energy in now because I have it, and it means a lot to me.
You guys, you have a 4-year term?
Yes.
4-year
Okay.
term. 4-year term, yeah. And I think one of the advantages that I bring is that I have such an institutional memory for Cabrillo because I was there for 30 years. I served on just about every committee you can think of. I was on the faculty senate for 22 years. I was on the college planning council for 10 years. I was on the union council for 10 years. I was the chief negotiator for the union in my last year that I was there. I've also served on the Metro Transit District for 5 years, mainly because I saw the relationship between transportation issues and community college students, and so I served on that for 5 years. So I bring, I think, a wealth of knowledge about the college, and I absolutely passionately love Cabrillo College. It's the best place I've ever been. I taught at 5 different colleges. This is by far the best. When I landed here, I said, this is it.
I'm not leaving.
I'm not leaving.
And you're still
Part of it was I'd never been to Santa Cruz, which is weird. I grew up in L.A., but I hate L.A., by the way. And when I landed on Santa Cruz for the job interview, I looked around and I said, why would I ever want to leave this place?
Right.
And as we both know, the 80s in Santa Cruz were pretty special.
It was pretty
We
special.
had a great time to
It really was
be there
special.
and experience
Yeah,
that.
it was wonderful.
Is Cabrillo still affordable? I mean, it's been so long.
It's
since
getting
I've
more
been
affordable, actually, because the first 2 years, if you're a full-time student, it's free.
Oh, that's the newest
Right,
deal, right? So
And they've
So if you go,
just,
so the first two
First 2
years
years
for
are
students
free.
free.
Free if you're full-time.
and that's
Wow.
for tuition,
Full-time.
books. You still pay for books.
You
Yeah, you
pay for books.
pay for books, but we're
Yeah.
trying to make those, you know, I like I said, I've written 6 textbooks. And the ones that are, well, the ones that, I do are, they're published by Oxford University Press, which is a not-for-profit publisher. So the books online can cost about $30.
TC, but our last guest gave us T-shirts. I just wondered why he didn't bring any books down for us.
I'm very hesitant to do that kind of stuff. I'm sorry.
You read, Neil?
When you talk about affordability, one of the other things I'm really proud about Cabrillo, and I think probably Donna's been the most engaged, although I think Dan's on their board now, is we're also very connected with our foundation, the Cabrillo College Foundation.
Very much.
And the degree to which we raise money and put scholarships in place for students across all demographics.
emergency grants.
Yep.
Which are
Huge.
To pay for those things.
what's an
that we're
what's an
talking about.
emergency grant?
You're a single mom and you just got a flat tire, and there is no way that you can pay for that and childcare and rent and everything, and you're going to have to drop out of school.
Right.
And so you get
So you-
you get $500 or
So,
something
Wow.
like that.
so it's a quick system to get it. You don't have to go through a lot of
Hoops.
and red tape, and it was set up years ago at the foundation called the Women's Educational Success Program, which I served on for a long time, and now the Veterans Group is modeling after that. So we've got what's called a quick response team, and we're developing a fund that will do the same thing for our vets.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
and I serve on the foundation too. And
Yeah.
You
part
guys
of the
serve a lot. You
president's
guys
circle.
serve on a lot of boards.
Yeah, we're
How we
yeah.
don't get asked to serve on boards?
Yeah.
Well, maybe someday. We'll get a lot on board someday. Yeah.
It's not because
Some of these boards here.
it's not because we love meetings, though. I have to say,
yeah.
because some of those meetings can be brain killers.
Wow. Well, it sounds like this is a love of the
It is.
community.
Yeah.
Well, I think,
It
It
really
is.
is.
I think
It is.
if
We
you're
wouldn't do it
volunteering and
otherwise.
putting in your time, that's
Yeah,
that's a love
Yeah,
for the
it's,
program.
yeah. It's not a paid gig, so
Yeah.
Right.
we do it because we love it.
Well, from just hearing this, I feel confident that you guys are doing a good job.
Thanks.
And if I was the other ones who were running against you, I think I'd be a little scared because of what you bring to the table and your backgrounds, And so, and as being a alumni of Cabrillo, I have a
Did
lot
you
of
get that?
interest
Did
in
you
that.
get that? Did you get that?
I actually did. I got an A. Yeah, and so, yeah, I actually did.
Oh, that's the thing.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
degree.
Was that
thing.
a diploma or a parking ticket?
Parking ticket.
Right.
Oh my
I never
God.
got a parking
No,
ticket.
he got a
I
special.
literally had my own dirt spot on the end, and I never got a ticket.
Unbelievable. That's pretty
That was always the first thing that I would say in every single class that I taught at Cabrillo was I'd always give this rap about you need to get a degree from Cabrillo College before you transfer to a four-year institution because you never know what's going to happen. You might go to the four-year institution without the degree and then something comes along and then you never finish and then you don't have a degree.
You don't have that
But
piece
if-
of paper.
And
But
that's
if you
exactly
get the
my life.
degree-
I transferred to San Jose State, and my problem was I had a sales job I was making really good money, and there was a conflict between my boss and my job that I was making really good money, and I had to say, okay, do I leave the job or do I leave college? And with 15 units left, I left San Jose State.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
but in hindsight, it was the best decision I made because of the career path that I had at the time.
Mine was similar. I have a 2-year degree from Cabrillo College in early childhood education. With that 2-year degree, I was able to become a child care center director, which I did for almost 6 years, and I loved that job. And kind of a fluke, I was able to leave there, and I got hired by John Laird when he was in our state assembly back in 2007. And started this career in government that I never would have imagined. And folks always said to me, well, are you going to go back to school? And like, I've got a great 2-year degree from a great community college, Cabrillo,
Yeah.
and a good career.
You're a
it almost
college
doesn't make
graduate.
sense.
That's what it means.
Yes.
You're
You
a
got a
college
degree in
graduate.
life.
I did.
I think that's the way I look at it.
Cabrillo
too.
set me up for that,
Exactly.
for sure.
Right. Well, it takes you have to be committed, and it takes dedication to go to college.
Yeah.
It does.
And I suggest a college that doesn't have an ocean view if you're a surfer, or you go for a long time. But
So we should put a wall up.
turn the blind.
No. We don't mind students sticking around for a long time.
Right. Yeah.
We're working on repeatability, so you can do that.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
actually thinking about because I want to learn how to weld. So I'm actually
Yeah.
thinking about coming in and
Oh, good.
enrolling in the welding course down there.
Cool.
Our arts.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
yeah, and I know a lot of people who've taken that class in the welding, and it's that's a great asset to the community.
Yeah,
You'll go into photography.
I had a good friend who just
You
died,
know.
but he took the welding and he really used it for a lot of projects.
Actually, they're doing a special series on welding through the Cabrillo Extension Division. You should check it
Wow,
out.
I will.
It's
Yeah.
happening this year.
Thanks for the tip. Yeah, that's something I've been thinking about a lot. So I have a beautiful welder, and I don't know how to use it. So I better.
You guys have any final words before we end this amazing show?
Vote for us.
Yes, please do.
Get out and vote
You can vote early starting October 10th.
online, right?
Just
Depending
vote
on where you
early and
live,
often.
one of us will likely be on your ballot. My district is from roughly Beach Flats and the downtown Santa Cruz area over to 17th. And you just kind of follow that neck of the woods on up through Happy Valley, sliver of Scotts Valley,
Yeah.
Prospect Heights. If you live in my area, I hope the work I've done over the last 4 years has earned your vote. Reach out to me, adamspickler.org, if you have any questions.
Great.
Keep me around.
That's awesome. And is there a way that somebody in the Aptos area can reach out to you?
Yeah, they can reach out to me on Facebook, and I have a website that I'm about to go public with.
Which is?
It's on Facebook.
Okay.
I don't remember what
And your
the
Facebook page is what?
Dan Rothwell.
Dan
is his
Rothwell.
name.
J. Dan Rothwell.
Okay.
J. Dan Rothwell.
J. Dan
Facebook?
Rothwell.
But
Okay.
if you type my name in Google, you'll come
It'll
up
come
with
up.
my name,
Oh, yeah.
and then it'll have all the books that I've published.
Right.
Nice sales job.
Yeah.
Sales pitch.
Donna, how about you?
No.
Got some final words here?
Yeah, I love what I'm doing. I want to continue doing it. I'm working on several projects, and the Legislative Advocacy Committee, which I started a couple of years
Yes,
ago,
you
is where my heart is. Yeah, my website is in development, as we say. People can reach me at zld43@yahoo, but I may have another address as well later.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
you can find all of us on the Cabrillo College website.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
just go to
You can
Cabrillo
just
on the
link
website,
right
and
there.
there's a page that has.
Page to just click and email us.
Yeah,
Right.
it's easy. It's easy. Look, I
Yeah.
checked it out.
You
It's
did?
easy.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
He can figure it out.
If Neil can do it,
If I can figure it
anybody
out,
can do
I
it.
can figure it out.
Well,
Gail Pillar showed me. I'm like, Gail.
Yes.
And she's like, Neil, here it is right here. Boom. Yeah. She's,
I just want to congratulate you for basically volunteering to keep Cabrillo as great as it is.
Thank you very
know,
much.
Thank you.
So yeah,
I appreciate it.
And from, like I said, from hearing you talk about it, I respect the passion and your experience to keep Cabrillo going in a good direction. So
Thank you.
that's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Neil, any last words
Appreciate it.
tonight?
No, great show.
Yeah, it's an
Good
awesome
luck
show.
to the kid. Good luck to the guys with Derby Park. Good
Yeah.
Derby. Good luck to these guys with Cabrillo.
For sure. I think we learned a lot. Hopefully
Yeah.
the listeners will. And
Yeah.
this is going to be on YouTube, and we have podcasts. You'll all get copies where you can share.
And next week we have Sachi Cunningham, who is a professor at San Francisco State.
Mm-hmm.
She is a writer for the Los Angeles Times. She's a well-known still photographer and cancer survivor, and awesome woman. She'll be here on the
Wow.
Off the Better Show next Tuesday at 7
That's a great show. Well, hey, thanks again, you guys.
Thank
Best
you.
of luck in November.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody watching, reach out to them if you're in their area. I don't know if we can call that a district, but if you're in the area,
It's a
reach out if
district,
you have
yeah.
questions. And be sure to vote no matter who you vote for. Make sure you vote. And one last question. If you don't win the election, will you graciously walk away?
No, we're going to do what Donald Trump did.
Challenge
Storm the administration office.
It's a fake election.
I think there would be a peaceful transition of power, but
Well, like I said, everybody, go out and vote. And that's the most important thing you can do for this country. And best of luck to you three.
Thank
Neil,
you.
great show.
Thank you so
We'll be
much.
back on Tuesday, everybody. Thank you, T Fox. As always, right?
Correct.
Letting us be on Santa Cruz.
OffTheLipRadio.com.
Offthelipradio.com, and it'll be on YouTube tomorrow. Thank you, folks. Good night.